All right, everyone. Apparently, the Biden campaign is pissed at Giuliani because he's said, look, I have evidence of wrongdoing in the Hunter Biden Ukraine case. That's why they want to muzzle me. So they sent out, I guess, a call to NBC, CBS, and all of these other bigger groups, CNN, demanding or requesting, depending on which story you believe, that they stop having Giuliani on as a guest. Because Giuliani is very good at this. You look, he and Trump do the same thing. And Giuliani's been doing this for a while, so I think that they like cross-trained together, and I don't know which one of them originated the idea. They're excellent shit posters. And so they know that if they say off-the-wall shit, they'll get a call from one of these groups. They want the scoop. They want the story because they know that they'll sell a lot of ads. These dudes make millions of dollars by having Giuliani on there for 10 minutes to say crazy shit. And what they're also hoping for is that he'll pretend, because it is pretense, he'll pretend to have a major oopsie moment and accidentally say something that no sane lawyer would say in regards to their client. And it's like, do you honestly believe in a million years that Trump has his lifelong friend, heavy hitter Rudy goddamn Giuliani himself on there because he's worried that Giuliani's developing dementia and will say crazy shit to the media? No. Trump tells him to say these things. They're in cahoots. They're bosom buddies, dude. They have been for a long time. Wasn't there a skip? God, it wasn't 25 fucking 30 years ago. It was a long time, like back in the 90s at least. There was a skit from a long time ago where, I guess for a fundraiser, Giuliani was dressed in a dress, like as a woman, not to be a shit fuck and breach any political correct terms or anything, but he was dressed like a lady with perfume and stuff, and Trump leaned in and like smelled his fake boobs and stuff, and Giuliani was like, oh, you dirty, nasty man. It was some crazy shit, and I'm not even 100% sure what it was for, but it was, I guess, funny. You can imagine Giuliani hasn't he been divorced like 3 times, I think, so who knows what he's got going on. But the Biden campaign is obviously pissed. I would be more pissed. If I were Biden's campaign manager, yeah, I'd be afraid of Giuliani, but I'd be more afraid of Nancy Pelosi and Schiff. I'd be afraid of the Democrats. Why? Because they're going to have to keep this going now. The whole Ukraine thing hinges on an investigation that allegedly happened or didn't happen or was suppressed into Hunter Biden. What happened is that he was on the chair of an energy firm in Ukraine while his daddy was vice president. That's the biggest conflict of interest you can possibly imagine. Both, by the way, Warren and Kamala Harris flubbing their response to whether they would allow this to happen if they were president. Oh, I would have to look at it, says Elizabeth Warren. Oh, I'm not really going to answer. No, I probably wouldn't, but, this is a distraction by Trump, says Kamala Harris. I can't wait to report on that. They both bombed on that answer. And, of course, when they asked Joe Biden got red in the face, refused to answer at all, and started rambling about Trump. That's because he's guilty. And we know that he is. Hunter Biden his son, served in a capacity as one of the main members of an energy firm connected with a country that was in open diplomacy at the time with the U.S. The allegation is that an attempt to investigate Hunter Biden was quashed. By the way, this prosecutor in Ukraine that they're trotting out to defend the Bidens right now, isn't that the same dude that they put in after the first one was forced to resign? No, I'm totally surprised that the person handpicked to succeed the individual who allegedly got squished out because he wanted to investigate this whole thing. I'm so astonished that the new person who was handpicked for it would be friendly to the Biden's cause. Wow. I'm so goddamn fucking surprised. I'm not surprised at all, dude. Of course it would be a friend of the Bidens. Because that's allegedly the whole reason that the one that came before him got fired. Got forced out by Poroshenko himself, not exactly necessarily the most trustworthy political individual in Eastern Europe. That's the allegation anyway. The Bidens don't want it brought up. I wonder why. Why? Because you're afraid of being investigated for real this time. You're afraid the Ukrainians will throw you under the bus. They're really afraid because what could happen is that Biden stops being frontrunner and therefore stops being able to shield his career. Because if he loses frontrunner status, if it looks like it won't be Joe Biden, the presidential nominee, whoops, he no longer gets that protection. This is what happened with Clinton. Clinton was fundamentally protected from her own wrongdoing by the fact that she became the Dem nominee. And even before she was nominated, the writing was on the wall to any sane person. We knew for months and months it wasn't going to be Bernie Sanders, the presidential nominee. We knew that wasn't going to happen. His fans continued to harangue and harass and badmouth anyone that said that it couldn't happen, but it couldn't happen. because the DNC is fucking corrupt as all hell. They were going to shalong Bernie Sanders, and they did. They're going to do the same thing this time around to a bunch of people, too. Right now, the Biden campaign, the headline should be this. The headline should be, Biden campaign asks corporations that represent that side of the media not to do their goddamn job. Biden campaign asks corporations to muzzle their own journalists in order to protect himself. Biden has something to hide, doesn't want Giuliani on there to spill the beans. That should be the headline. But you're never going to hear that because Orange Man bad. That's essentially what this is. Of course the Bidens are guilty. Of course it was inappropriate for the goddamn vice president's son to serve as a board, a chair in a foreign corporation that was pertinent to ongoing diplomatic relations with a foreign state. Of course it was inappropriate. Inappropriate enough that Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris, two mainline Democratic candidates, they both flub at trying to protect Biden and not to look like bitches, but at the same time basically throw him under the bus. No, I wouldn't let him serve in that capacity. No, of course it's inappropriate. But I'd have to look at the circumstances, and it's a big distraction by Trump. It's not a distraction. It was a pertinent investigation. Again, let me reiterate. The allegation is that, and again, the reason why the prosecutor they're consulting here, the former Ukrainian high prosecutor, would be defending the Bidens is because this is the person who was there in succession after the old one was canned, forced to resign, essentially. The allegation is that was the result of getting too close to the Bidens as part of this investigation. It became diplomatically difficult because the U.S. began withholding money from Ukraine. Biden held it over the Ukrainians' heads. And so, no, there wouldn't be a need to investigate once the investigator is gone, because he was replaced because he wanted to investigate in the first place. Why the hell is the media even talking to this moron? They should be talking to Rudy Giuliani, and he claims to have smoking gun evidence. I would like to see it. By the way, you'll probably get to see it if the impeachment proceedings continue. I think that there's a little bit of insurance on the Bidens involved. Why do you think that they're so happy to have Elizabeth Warren as a backup right now? I've seen, this is, by the way, totally coincidental, everybody. In the last 72 or so hours, the number of fluff pieces and positive pieces towards Warren have multiplied greatly, haven't they? You've heard a lot more about her and how wonderful a person she is and how you totally don't have to pit her against Bernie Sanders at this time. Why do you think that is? We know from the last election that groups like MSNBC, CNN, NBC, CBS all coordinate with mainline Democratic campaigns. Is it that big a stretch to imagine that Elizabeth Warren's people have been in coordination with these people and said, look, Biden's going to get knocked out. Elizabeth Warren's going to be the nominee. Play nice. Be nice to her. Help us along so we can defeat Orange Man. Is that a stretch of the imagination to imagine that for-profit corporations would seek to increase their profits by doing so that they can get that special slot with Elizabeth Warren standing in and pretending that she never farted in her life? Because that's exactly what she does. She's a holier-than-thou waspish NIMBY. But yeah, don't investigate. Don't have Giuliani on there. Oh my God, he's scary, says the Biden campaign. I wonder what they're scared of. Very funny. That's about all. Peace out.